Tuomas, with 5 seconds left, you had the 5-second violation. Can you just take us through what happened there? Were you trying to get the ball to Desmond Bain as he was kind of flaring to the corner? Just what was your insight on what happened?
Yeah, Desmond was the first option on that. There was a small window for that. I think Jimmy Butler made a small defensive error. Looney was on top of it. Did a good job right there. There's a small window, but it's difficult because you can see Butler hesitating for a second there, and that was the window to throw the pass. We didn't, and after this, they were in perfect position to take out the second options out of that. So,
how did you guys get back into the game in the second half?
I mean, I would like to say sheer will, but it's much more than that. Guys were really competing. We had a very good halftime talk with the guys where it's basically the basic idea was that we have more to give. We have more to give, and we got to do it. And it starts with everybody out there on the floor. And we gave them the lead. We felt like we gave them the lead, and then we worked ourselves back into the game. And unfortunately, it's been the story that we play a hell of a game and then are unable to close it.
After losing another game in a way that's going to hurt, and then having to come back on Friday, I guess is that going to be hard to pick yourself up out off the mat for something like that?
Of course, it's hard, Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. But it's our job, and I've always thought in these situations, learned this as a younger player that there's nothing we can do to change this result anymore. So all we can do is try to learn from this and then apply it to the game 2 days from now. That's all we can do.
Coach, right here, a couple of interesting aspects to your defense in this game. One, you put Zach Edey guarding Jimmy Butler quite a bit. The other one, you just put Scottie Pippen Jr. on stuff, no switching, nothing like that. Can you take me through the reasoning behind those decisions, how you thought those went?
Yeah. So the matchups in the starting unit, for example, with Jaren and Zach, we decided to cross-match for a couple of reasons there. First one being that they also matched up this way, and we felt like it was better for our transition defense to be able to maintain those matchups. Other one, Butler has not been a very effective three-point shooter this season. He had 4 pull-up threes before this season made. And we wanted to also keep Jaren out of foul trouble, which Butler does excellently, and to have Zach patrol the paint and wall off all the drives while still maintaining pass pressure on Draymond Green's playmaking, which was something that picked us off and really caused us issues because he's much more of a passing hub than Butler in this situation where he's more of a cutter. So that was the main reasoning. We went back and forth as always, and also changed it up during the game. But I thought it was our reasoning and motives behind it were very solid.
Right, Coach. What were the conversations like with Ja after he turned his ankle, and what was it like just seeing him trying to gut through it in the fourth quarter?
No, there was no conversation. It was a monologue. He told me that he's good to go.
And what was it like just seeing him trying to play through it in the fourth quarter?
I mean, seeing him like in that situation, like was to me, I'm of that generation that still remembers Isaiah Thomas hopping around on one ankle. It wasn't quite that, but like hopefully it's not as severe. I have no information on that, but it was inspiring, and I think it also lifted the guys up that to see that your leader, is putting it all on the line there.
What did you make of the way Zach played overall in the game?
I have to see the film, but generally, like when I look at it, like somehow he always ends up in the plus. He's very important for us. He solidifies the defensive rebound, and we've spoken about this several times that his impact is also not always the most obvious one. It's the opponent tends to offensive rebound much better when he's off the floor, and offensively, we got ourselves a lot of extra shot opportunities through his 7 offensive rebounds today. And I think the situations where he still has room to grow, those are things that will come through age, recognizing or rather handling than recognizing double teams, for example, and the quickness of the decision making. But he's on a really, really positive trajectory also on that.
And how important was Desmond's shot making in the second half, especially with Ja, hurting?
I mean, Des's shot making is always important, and he's somebody I really like. I watched that situation, the last situation. We really wanted to get the ball in his hands, knowing that they're gonna try to switch those, pre-switch the matchups before the ball gets inbounded. But it's he's a very, very good offensive player, and when he starts making shots like that, we are very difficult to stop, and that was a big part why we made our run.
When you lose a game where you might have had a chance to get a game-tying shot up, how much does that eat at you as a coach? Or is that something that you just have to put away quickly?
Yeah, it always eats. There are other things that eat you up more. I think those in this day and age, they're like, it's easy to pinpoint those situations that, okay, here this happened, but I mean, the game is 200 possessions, 100 going the other way, 100. There's a lot of stuff on the margins that you can do better, and I've always believed that you need to be really good at the things that happen the most often, and late game X's and O's, they're important. They are very magnified, especially in the NBA environment, but it's not the situation that happens most often, but it's very glaring when it does happen. So you have to find a balance also as a coach, like how much time do you invest in things that might make you look bad, but or are not maybe moving the needle in the big picture, So those are things that come with this. It's part of the zeitgeist. Thank you.